Howdy, two things happened today. First, I got a loading tomorrow, a big factory machine, and we'll be heading into US. 55,000 pounds, just a flat floor machine. We'll be using blocking to load it on my drop set rail trailer. And finally, after a month of constant emails to and from, I managed to meet with a guy who sells this. This is a P367. See? So it's an older style model that you can get as a fifth wheel highway tractor, heavy haul tractor. And I went to see the guy. Give me all these nice booklets, you know. And something went wrong with his computer. Yeah, I see these, they're called vocational trucks. So 365 is this one, 367 is this one. It's a longer hood than 365, and it can put a bigger engine up to 600 horsepower. And so something went wrong with his spec program. For some reason he tried to get pricing, he said, this morning, and all of a sudden all his specs was converted to non-US export, like as if somebody is buying this truck to export it out of North America, and he was getting all kinds of error messages there, and he was dealing with it like for an hour, and then finally just looking at the guy backing next to another truck, like F-150 is backing very close to another vehicle, but he didn't hit it. Good. And so yeah, finally he managed to print out the spec, just he says, with all those error messages, but I didn't see them. But I was able to see what he did, and we pretty much copied the Kenworth and Western Star spec. So the wheelbase became, on this Peterbilt 367, the wheelbase became, it's a setback axle configuration, because you can get this truck with set forward or set back axle, and for my application, set back works better. And he did that, and the wheelbase is 255 inches, but when I look at the tanks, he was only able to put in 100 gallons on one side and 70 gallons on the other, which is definitely not enough, you know. Now I have 125 gallon tank on each side, and that's not enough, so I want to get at least 300 gallons so I can buy cheap fuel in the States. But actually it went up everywhere, but so I don't know, but still it's not enough, so he'll have to put in bigger tanks. And one thing I noticed is that Kenworth can give you much bigger tanks in diameter, and so that allows them to keep the wheelbase shorter. Like Kenworth is with the same spec, it's 254 inches, and yet he managed to squeeze in about 300, just under 300 gallons of fuel. Like I think he put one tank 177. Kenworth guy was able to use like custom size, but big. I think it's like 28-inch diameter, huge tanks, you know. So this guy does not have that. His biggest tanks are only 26. But the general spec is pretty much the same. He used 10 3/4 inch rails, and then a 10-foot insert, basically behind the sleeper, just like what we did with the Western Star and Kenworth. Not double frame, because that one is too heavy, it's not required. And also when you have a double frame, especially here in Canada, all that moisture and stuff causes corrosion in there between the rails. So just an insert, it's more than enough. And he put in a bigger slider. This guy, unlike Western Star, he can put in 65.8-inch S-slide for the fifth wheel, which is very important. And he has here listed 60, 61, or 65.8, you know. Kenworth had 60, Western Star could only find 40 or 42 inches. You know, so I see more customization with the PACCAR products, for sure. With the Peterbilt and Kenworth, you get more choices. And so on the front, the Peterbilt guy puts in 20,000 Meritor axle with 18,000 pound taper leaf springs, dual power steering, regular drum brakes, and the rear axle is Meritor 46,000 pounds, and the pusher is Watson 20,000. And all the spacing now, just like I told Kenworth and Western Star, I said I need 54 inches. So it's 54 inches between the drives and 54 inches between the first drive axle and the pusher axle. And the pusher is self-steering axle. Ratio he put in 3.91, which I would change to 373. And the engine now is called X15, so pretty much the same configuration as with Kenworth T800. So it's X15, 565 horsepower, 2050 torque at 1150 RPM. Okay. And this is the emissions truck, right? Packard starter, 2-speed fan clutch, which is good. So it means that when the computer decides it needs to cool the radiator, it can choose from 2 speeds, so it's not going to be too loud. If it's not too hot, it'll just start in a low speed. I think I saw it also with Western Star and Kenworth. It's like my truck only has one speed, so it's very loud when the radiator fan comes on. And he puts in small cleaners, 13-inch in diameter, just like Western Star, but he says they have 15 available, 15 inches, but he just says it's more cost efficient, like the air filters are cheaper. But you know, this is kind of like a preliminary spec. I told the guy that I have to sell my truck first, so this is just kind of like a first draft. I might increase those cleaners to 15-inch, you know, just for more air and kind of like a meaner look. Pipes are gonna be the same as on the Kenworth. Like the top section is 7-inch in diameter, huge pipes, but of course the actual pipes are gonna be on the sides. The transmission he put in cheaper one, like on Kenworth and Western Star we put in RTLO 22918. Over here I see it's my older spec because it took him so long to do this. The first choice was RTLO 20918, which is the same 18 speed, only it's rated for 2050 pounds of torque instead of 2250, so it's a bit weaker. 2250, it's more expensive, but that's like the most durable transmission you can buy, period. So I might change that later if I, you know. So air dryer, tires, okay, he copied the tires from the Kenworth, so it's Michelin 385s on the front, Bridgestone 16 ply 11R22.5s on the drives, and the pusher is 425, 2 single tires with a big rim. Yeah, so the tanks, 2 small 100-gallon, 70-gallon, not gonna work. Oh, he put in Arctic, I don't think I might have told him that. He put Arctic wrap on all fuel lines. That's really cool. Arctic wrap on all fuel lines to ensure, you know, the fuel lines stay warm in the winter. Pretty cool. DEF, what did he put in here? I don't see the DEF tank medium. I don't see the size. How big is that medium, you know? Okay, battery box. Cab is aluminum with a fiberglass hood. Oh, keyless entry. I like that. You know, you just, like in a car, you flip your FOB fob and your doors lock and unlock. Cool. Thermal insulation package in cab. Cool. Now the sleeper, it was my first, again in December when I was doing this, I wanted to keep it cheap, so I told him to spec a flat top roof sleeper. Now of course Western Star and Kenworth we switched to mid-roof, but this guy over here, it still shows 72-inch low roof sleeper with prestige interior. And I asked him about mid-roof, he says that'll be about $3,000 extra to go to mid-roof where you can stand inside. But that's another thing that I might change. Right, and so Arctic Gray is the color, prestige interior, two-piece flat windshield. Probably curved is better if they have it. And again, there's Arctic wrap on sleeper heater water supply lines. Water supply lines. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, regular mirrors. Outside sun visor stainless steel. Remote diagnostics. It's pretty similar to all these gauges and you know, like I guess full set of gauges and how many gauges? Let's see. 5-pound fire extinguisher, very important. And it's 2017 emissions engine. And so yeah, then he told me the price. The price was pretty low compared to other trucks, Western Star, Kenworth, and even Volvo. And then I asked him about warranty, and he said warranty was not included, so he added warranty. And on this Cummins 565 horsepower, 2050 torque, 5 years, 500,000 mile warranty that covers everything: engine, you know, chassis, drivetrain, emissions, very important, emissions equipment. It was 9,700 US, 9,700 US, or about 13,000 Canadian. So of course right away the price jumped up by that. And then also he did not include the price of the PTO, which I said I definitely need. And that's another 3 grand US roughly, or 4,500 Canadian. But still, compared to other, and then he has to increase the tanks, and that would increase the frame, and that would require a longer insert behind the sleeper, so the truck will be more expensive because of that. But I need those tanks. So anyway, looking at the price, he gave it to me. He gave it to me before the warranty, before the PTO, and with these small tanks and the smaller sleeper. If we add all that, still this truck is going to be at least 10 grand US, or 15,000 cheaper, surprisingly, than Kenworth and Western Star, with pretty much the same specs. I mean, if we update them to the level of T800 and Western Star, and it's a bit lighter, like because of aluminum cab. But probably will be the same when he will increase the wheelbase to fit in bigger fuel tanks. But still, you know, I was surprised. I thought the Peterbilt would be the most expensive one. So this was the pleasant surprise of the day. And I drove there to meet the guy, and I said, "Do you want me to drive my car or my truck?" And he says, "Well, bring your truck. You know, I'll take some pictures and take a look at it." And so I did that, and he was really impressed by the trailer. You know, why am I showing this way? I'm in my Mazda. I don't have a trailer. But he really liked that humongous Fontaine 55 ton. So I guess now he saw that, you know, I'm serious about this. I'm not just some kind of a, you know, first year rookie pulling 35 ton. It's like a serious trailer. And I said, yeah, that's why I need a big truck. I need a bigger engine. Yeah, and he asked me, he says, so why you want to sell your truck only after 2 years? And I said, I need a bigger engine because I want to be hauling on 8 axles, or I want to be hauling. I need a heavier front axle, and I want a slightly bigger sleeper, if not in height, at least in length, so I can store more of my junk inside, you know, and make it harder to clean. Very important. And that's what we're building here, right? So good price, pleasant surprise, nice weight. I forgot to ask him about the build time. So far, Kenworth is the fastest, 45 days. You know, you give him 5 grand deposit, you get a new, and you get financing in place, and you can get a new T800 Terminator in 45 days. You know, that's impressive. But also Kenworth is the heaviest truck of all these 3 or 4. Western Star brand new, Western Star Glider, Peterbilt new, and Kenworth new, right, with emissions. So Kenworth is the heaviest, and And the lightest and the cheapest so far is the Western Star glider. So anyway, that was my, the gist of my meeting with the salesperson today, and I explained to him the situation that January is, once again, I look at that picture. See, classic lights, right? And this one has just a single exhaust. And you can get it either with a Packard 13-liter engine or Cummins 15-liter. And so, yeah, I explained to the guy that I can only do this when I sell my truck, because I asked him for a trade-in, right? And he said they were still waiting for one more guy, but so far they only received, like, some very smart individual was offering to buy my truck for 65,000 Canadian. I said, yeah, that's, that guy is real clever with his money, because he's gonna turn around and sell this truck for 120 grand Canadian and make 60 grand in 3 days. So I said, you know what, I'll wait. And this guy says, yeah, I know, that's why. He said, I didn't want to tell you the price because I knew you'd be offended, but I said, I was offered 70 US and that was not enough. So I said, I'm gonna sell it myself. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that, sorry for getting carried away. I said, I might need to wait till the spring to sell this truck because nobody's buying trucks right now. It's in January, right? And he says, oh, I understand. He says, I'm not the push type of a guy, so at least, I didn't want to lie to him, right? Because the guy did all this work, And so that's where we stand. So now I have specs from all major truck manufacturers, and this was the first draft, so we can fine-tune it a little bit, and I'll be ready to make the final choice. But before I do that, I have to sell this truck, which probably will not happen until spring. So until spring I'll be trucking, making money, and as I mentioned, I'm loading tomorrow near Toronto with this factory machine, and then I'll come back home and take a couple of days off because the delivery is only on Tuesday, 500 miles away in US. So I'm gonna leave Sunday, give myself enough time to reach the destination. So those are the plans, and I don't know which truck I would lean towards. It's hard to say right now. Probably the one where the overall price with all the warranty would be cheaper. But yeah, this guy did include all the warranty, whereas with the Kenworth, I just remembered, it was only a 5-year, 300,000 mile warranty, because he says 500 would be more money. So I don't know, like Peterbilt looks pretty good in terms of, as an investment. Okay, sorry for the long video once again. Thanks for watching. I'm SERGEI DRATCHEV in Cambridge, Ontario. Be safe, be cool, be warm. Don't take it in bad nickels from anybody.